modeling and making changes to the house is almost imperative, doesn't it?
It sure does. Yep. And I think all the home improvement shows and websites and magazines and everything obviously fuel people's desire to make changes. And of course you've got those weekend warriors that want to do it themselves as well.
Oh, sure. Now these changes and these renovations, they cost money. So how can a homeowner finance these things? How can they pay for this or make this happen?
Yeah, great question. So if you have little repairs to make, say you just want to change out some carpet or you want to paint, then your best way to go, typically homeowners will just use their credit card for small repairs. But what we're seeing, Ken, are big repairs, right? People who want to make renovations or projects of $25,000 or more even. And oftentimes they start, I know myself included, you start small, and then once you get started, you say, well, let's go do this and let's go do that. So it can be pretty intimidating to figure out how you're going to pay for all of this. What we really suggest you do is consider a home equity line of credit, and that's a loan against your home. And so if you've built up equity in your home, which many Americans have done, either as home prices have risen or they stayed in their home long enough to pay down their mortgage, they've accumulated some equity, you want to put that to work. And so this is where the home equity line of credit can be a great solution for you. How
long does it take to build up a good home equity line of credit?
Well, to build up home equity in your home, that's just as fast as you've accumulated your down payment and then you've made your mortgage payments. But we see owners buy a home and already have equity available for them, so they plan on making a renovation right away. And others, it may take them, 5 or 10 years before they've built up enough equity to have room available to do it. But we start our line of credits at $25,000. So as long as you have $25,000 room in your line, you're a great candidate for a line of credit.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask here something about the how long it takes. Is that like somebody paying off their mortgage or paying making payments on their mortgage to a certain degree that that builds up to about $25,000? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah. So let's say you own a home of $300,000. Okay, mm-hmm. And let's say you originally took out a mortgage of $200 and something, and now you've got it paid down to $200,000. Well, you've got now $100,000 worth of equity built up available to you. So we will usually lend up to 85% of that home's value. So you've got at least $50,000, if not more, access for you to use to make those home renovations. So that's kind of how it works.
There we go. So now once these renovations are made and paid for, what do homeowners do to manage their line of credit?
So let's first talk about how you get one. So when you go to the bank and you apply for a line of credit, the beauty of it is there are no origination costs, there's no closing costs, there's none of the costs that you would typically find with, say, a first mortgage. So it's real convenient for you and it's real flexible for you. You only pay, Ken, for what you use. So let's take that $50,000 line of credit, for instance. Mm-hmm. We'll give you that $50,000 line, and it's there. It's yours to access when you need it, however you want to use it. So you can use it for home renovations, but you really can use it for any major expense that you may have upcoming. So we give you that line. You have it in place. And then let's say in 3 months you're meeting with the contractor and you come up with a budget and you do all the repairs, and when it comes time to pay the contractor, you just write a check off that line of credit or transfer from that line of credit and you pay the contractor. So you don't have to show us any paperwork or any of that. As soon as you take it out, it's yours to use. And however much you use, even though we gave you 50, let's say that you only needed 20,000 of it, you only pay interest on what you're actually using.
Aha. Okay, that's a pretty nifty way of doing this. So then, does that do things to help a homeowner's overall credit score? Does that help? Does that help build it up?
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you've taken out credit and you're using it responsibly, and you're paying back your interest every month on the amount you're borrowing, then it can definitely help strengthen your credit score.
There we go. All right. What do homeowners get from making these home renovations? Does it it obviously increases the value of the home, does it not?
I mean, in most cases, it's going to increase the value of your home. It's certainly going to make your home more saleable. But we're finding a lot of clients are doing home renovations not necessarily with that single goal in mind. So I'll give you a couple for instances. Maybe you have an aging parent and you want to move that parent in to live with you, and you've got to, spruce up a bedroom or put on an addition or maybe add a new bathroom. That's really the motivation behind why a client would want to do it, to help their aging parents more so than I think I'm going to, add extra equity to my home. We see a lot of people that will put in beautiful new outdoor kitchens or outdoor living areas. It's really if they're going to stay in their home and they've put their hard-earned money to work and they've built up some equity, then they want to enjoy the home. So they do it, yes, to build value, but they're also doing it to increase their quality of life and the enjoyment of their home. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, very popular out in LA and in California right now is, things like solar panels and how I can add energy efficient features to my home so that I can lower my bills and obviously improve the environment. So everyone's motivation is a little different. Certainly making more money off your home is one of them, but it's not the only one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe with these solar panels and new technology, these changes can actually pay for themselves in some way down the line. I know I'm coming up on time, Ms. McClellan. Is there anything we've missed that we need to get out there?
So if you're interested, I would suggest that you get started now. Take care of your financing first before you start to meet with that contractor. So you can visit any of our Bank of America locations and speak to a lending officer. I really recommend that so that they can see the whole picture and make sure it's the best solution for you. If you don't want to go into a center and you'd rather do it online, you can go to bankofamerica.com, or you can even text us now at 226-526. That's Bank AM, and you just put in your text HELOC or home equity, and we'll send you a link, and you can get started there.
There we go. All right. Michelle McClellan with Bank of America. I thank you for a few minutes out. Best to you down in Charlotte.
Thank you, Ken.
Michelle McClellan is the product management executive from First Mortgages and Home Equity Lending at Bank of America. And some interesting findings from that Home Buyer Insights report. 1/3 of homeowners say they pursued a new hobby or interest, like interior designing or remodeling, when they became a homeowner. 78% of home buyers plan to update or renovate their homes. Just 8% say they plan to gut their homes, and I guess more or less start over. And those surveyed said they were motivated to use a home equity line of credit by the ease of use, low cost, quick funds, and tax deductions. And homeowners choose to finance the big projects. A typical homeowner using secured financing spent $32,000 on renovations in 2017. That's 3 times more than a renovator who was paying with cash, paying only $13,000. Interesting stuff out of that report, and I'm sure you can get it on the Bank of America website. And we'll wrap it up for this edition of Conversation Collage. Again, thank you for being with us. Appreciate it. Hope you've learned something here and that you'll join us for the next one. Be sure and like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, check us out. And also, if you're on, again, the Apple iTunes page, would you please give this a rating? I'd appreciate that. By the way, we should mention that promotional consideration for these conversations here were provided by Northwestern Medicine and also by Bank of America. That'll be 30 for this edition. Ken Johannesson, thanks for being with us. Be good to yourself.